Now, I wanted to talk today about the current Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton and Triple H and Stephanie and whoever else they have on their side feud. Pretty much what has been labeled as Corporation 2.0. I don't mind this because it's been 14 years since the Corporation. Corporation was always one of my favorite stables in WWE history. The thing is, I like the idea of it coming back. And I like the idea of Daniel Bryan being the outlaw because he is small. He isn't great on the mic. He doesn't have the best physique. And it really fits him. I don't like what they've done so far. Now, first, before I go into how I think they should have done it, I need to talk about the key players. Triple H, I did a video about last week, and you all know how I feel about him. Though I have always liked him better as a heel, and that is what he's portraying now. Randy Orton I've liked for many, many years. Going back to the legend, when he was the Legend Killer, I've liked Randy Orton. I really have. And while he's not the best on the mic, he is very, very good in the ring. And I like that they're bringing back his viciousness. Daniel Bryan I also really like. Daniel Bryan reminds me a lot of Bret Hart. And that is, neither one were great on the mic. But they're both so good in the ring that you have to take notice. Now, the thing about Bret Hart is better on the mic than Bret Hart says he is on the mic. And I recommend anyone read Bret Hart's book, his autobiography. Want to throw a cheap plug in for that book. It's really good, really fascinating read, really tells you about wrestling. As for Daniel Bryan, he doesn't have a book. You can't go buy his book. But I really like him. And I like the way this started out, with them kind of saying, we don't want Daniel Bryan as champion, he's too small. And Randy Orton cashing in thanks to Triple H's help, turning Triple H heel. And I've always liked Triple H better as a heel. I just always have. I don't like where it's gone from there. Daniel Bryan's like, I get my rematch at the next pay-per-view. I didn't think they should have done it that quick. I'm reminded of the original Corporation, how it formed, and that fall of what went on with Stone Cold when he was facing McMahon over the world title. And I'm going to give you a brief history here real quick. August, he faces The Undertaker. Undertaker refuses to cheat to win. Stone Cold wins. September, he faces The Undertaker and Kane. They cheat but pin him simultaneously, so there's no champion. So then in October, Stone Cold has to referee between The Undertaker and Kane. And Stone Cold, does Stone Cold things and stuns them both and declares it no contest. So Stone Cold gets fired. Shane announces, hey, I'm part owner of the company too. Shane McMahon. Before at this point, he was just the announcer on Sunday Night Heat. He rehires Stone Cold. Survivor Series, there's the tournament. Stone Cold's winning. Mankind's winning. The Rock seems the odd man out, the man who the Corporation really does not want. They want Mankind, it seems. Shane ends up as the ref in Stone Cold's match. Stone Cold versus Mankind. He cheats. Stone Cold loses. Turns into Mankind and Rock. Vince McMahon screws Mankind. Rock wins. Then we go into Mankind-Rock feud, while Austin's still feuding with Vince and the Corporation. At this point, Austin's like, I'm getting in the Rumble. Vince is like, you're not. Shawn Michaels, as commissioner, steps in, says, yeah, you both are. It goes to February pay-per-view, St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Stone Cold versus Vince in a cage for the #1 contendership. Stone Cold wins. Stone Cold beats The Rock at WrestleMania. Quick history. I wanted to see something more like that, only, you can't exactly do all of that again. Because they'll say, oh, you're just copying this. But that was enjoyable TV. Instead, we got September pay-per-view, Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan. October pay-per-view coming up, Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan again. This is not what I had in mind. I think Randy Orton or Daniel Bryan should have come out the next night after SummerSlam and said, hey, I get a rematch. And Triple H is like, you're right, you're guaranteed a rematch. But you're not guaranteed to decide when and where that happens. I'm the boss. That's my decision. And you're going to do pretty much, and when I decide you get your rematch, that's when you get it. So it's built up. Daniel Bryan's trying to prove he's good enough to face Randy Orton again. Triple H keeps saying no, keeps being put in insurmountable obstacles. Daniel Bryan faces someone in September for the #1 contendership again. Or if he wins, he gets his rematch. If he loses, he doesn't. Randy Orton faces someone. It doesn't matter who. We don't have Big Show's crying constantly on TV. I do like the Goldust, Dusty Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes versus the Corporation thing. But that really doesn't have to affect the title scene. That could be a secondary feud. So Daniel Bryan goes to that pay-per-view. He loses thanks to Triple H's interference, meaning he gets no rematch. They go on to October. Daniel Bryan once again is saying, hey, I should get this rematch, though I lost because you interfered. Triple H is saying no. Daniel Bryan again has to feud with some lesser member. Wade Barrett would be a good one for Daniel Bryan to feud with in September and October, because they can put on a decent match. Randy Orton's still feuding with whoever. Come Survivor Series, there is a Survivor Series match, whatever you call that, where it's like 5 or 6 on 6, or 5 on 5 or 6 on 6, whatever it is. And if Daniel Bryan's team wins, he gets to face Triple H. And if Triple H's team wins, Daniel Bryan never gets another title shot. Of course, Daniel Bryan wins. And then in December, we get Daniel Bryan versus Triple H. I know it's an off pay-per-view, but it could really sell that pay-per-view. While Randy Orton pretty much finishes up his feud because he's in a Survivor Series match. Then in January, or Randy Orton could start a new one, it doesn't matter. Then in January, Triple H is like, I'll give you a shot in the Rumble, but you're entering at #1. No, it's Daniel Bryan versus Triple H in December. And Triple H wins thanks to Shawn Michaels' interference. So Shawn Michaels is kind of gloating over Daniel Bryan. And Triple H is like, see, you lost. You're not good enough. Shawn Michaels then comes out and says, you know what? For me to interfere, you had to give me a lot of stock. Now I'm, I don't know, a third owner or whatever. A third owner of the company, and half the board has sided with me. So Daniel Bryan gets a shot in the Rumble, but he has to enter at #1. Randy Orton can continue to feud with them. This is a good feud for Orton to build someone up to main event status like Dolph Ziggler, but always have him not quite win it. Not Big Show or Rob Van Dam, because I hate those two. By the way, there's an article on my website, wordsfromtheoutlaw.com, where I talk in depth about Big Show's crying and about my feelings about Rob Van Dam. So if you want more information on that, go to the website. So yeah, Daniel Bryan wins the Rumble thanks to Shawn Michaels' interference. thanks to Shawn Michaels getting him the spot, and Shawn Michaels helps eliminate whoever Triple H's crony is at the end. Triple H is pissed. He challenges Shawn Michaels to a match at WrestleMania. Daniel Bryan's getting his title shot, but that pay-per-view in between, whatever it's called, I don't know, Daniel Bryan has to go through some big, huge obstacle, which he manages to overcome. So then we go to WrestleMania. We get Shawn Michaels versus Triple H grudge match. And we get Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton, where Daniel Bryan finally wins. Instead of Daniel Bryan faces Orton, no. Daniel Bryan's facing other people throughout the rest of the year. And then at WrestleMania, he finally gets his hands on Orton with no interference and whatever else, and can win. Plus, we get the Triple H Shawn Michaels one more time with them a feud. And their feuds were always fantastic. Going into WrestleMania, and one more time for them to have a good match. So that's what I think should have happened. I don't like where it's going now, and that's what I think should have happened.